The Empire had ruled 17 star systems for more than 1,000 years. Their warriors were tall and strong. They stood 9 feet high and had thick scales covering their bodies like armor. Their eyes could see in the dark. Their claws could tear through metal. They were the greatest hunters in the galaxy, and they were very, very bored. Commander stood on the bridge of his warship and looked at the star map. His species had conquered every world they found. They had hunted every creature they discovered, but nothing gave them joy anymore. The prey was always too easy. The hunt was always too short. His hunters needed something new. "Commander," said his scout officer, "we found something interesting." Turned his massive head. "Show me." The screen changed to show a blue and green planet. It was small and far away from the main trade routes. The species living there called it Earth. "These creatures call themselves humans," the scout explained. "They are soft. They have no claws, no scales, no natural weapons. They are slow and weak, but they are smart and they build tools." Watched the footage of humans walking in their cities, driving their cars, living their simple lives. A smile spread across his face, showing rows of sharp teeth. "They look like perfect prey," he said. The first hunt happened 3 months later. 20 hunters came down from the sky in the middle of the night. They landed in the Rocky Mountains, far from any city. Their cloaking technology made them invisible to human eyes and machines. They carried weapons that could burn through stone. The hunting party found their prey at a small campsite near a lake. 6 humans sat around a fire, laughing and talking. They did not know that death was watching them from the trees. Gave the signal. The hunters moved fast. The humans screamed and ran just as expected. One man tried to fight back with a small knife. A cut him down with one swing of its claws. A woman ran toward the lake. She did not make it. The children tried to hide in a tent. It did not save them. The hunt lasted less than 1 hour. They gathered the bodies and burned them. They left no evidence behind. Then they returned to their ship and celebrated their victory. "Excellent sport," said, drinking from a golden cup. "These humans are perfect, soft enough to be easy prey but smart enough to make the chase interesting." He sent the footage back to the. Within weeks, every noble family wanted to hunt humans. The price for a hunting trip to Earth became higher than the cost of a small starship. Rich paid fortunes for the chance to chase the soft creatures through their forests and deserts. The hunts continued for 2 years. They were careful. They chose isolated places, deep forests, empty deserts, lonely mountain ranges. They took only small groups of humans at a time. They burned the evidence and left no survivors. The humans blamed wild animals and accidents. No one suspected the truth. No one except Dr. Laura Mitchell. Laura was a wildlife biologist working in Montana. She spent her days studying wolves and bears in the wilderness. She knew the forest better than most humans alive, and she knew that something was very wrong. The number of missing hikers was growing too fast. In the past 2 years, more than 200 people had disappeared in the mountains. The authorities said they got lost or were killed by bears. But Laura found no bear tracks near the disappearance sites. She found no bodies, no bones, no blood. What she did find made her blood run cold. Near one of the sites, Laura discovered strange tracks in the mud. They were large, with 3 toes and deep claw marks. No animal on Earth made tracks like that. She also found burn marks on trees, perfect circles of black ash that no forest fire could create. Laura took photographs and samples. She showed them to the park rangers. They told her she was imagining things. She showed them to the local police. They told her to focus on her wolf studies. She showed them to the FBI office in Helena. They did not even call her back. But Laura did not give up. She started camping alone in the wilderness, in the areas where people had disappeared. She brought cameras and recording equipment. She stayed awake through the night, watching and waiting. On the 7th night, she saw them. 3 hunters appeared from nowhere. their cloaking devices failing for just a moment as they moved through the trees. Laura saw their scales, their claws, their glowing yellow eyes. She saw the weapons in their hands, the hunger on their faces. She ran. Laura ran faster than she had ever run in her life. She did not look back. She crashed through bushes and jumped over fallen logs. Her heart beat so hard she thought it would explode. Behind her, she heard heavy footsteps and strange clicking sounds. But Laura knew these woods, that did not. She led them to a cliff edge hidden by trees. At the last moment, she grabbed a branch and swung herself to the side. Two of the hunters ran over the edge before they could stop. They fell screaming into the darkness below. The third hunter stopped and stared at Laura with pure hatred in its yellow eyes. It raised its weapon. Laura closed her eyes. But the shot never came. A bright light filled the sky above them. Another ship was calling the hunter back. Some emergency on there needed their attention. The hunter gave Laura one last look of pure murder, then activated its cloaking device and disappeared. Laura stood alone in the darkness, shaking with fear and shock. She had seen them. She had proof that they existed, and she had survived. She spent the next month gathering more evidence. She found more tracks, more burn marks, more signs of the alien hunters. She put everything together in a report and sent it to every government agency she could find. Most of them ignored her. But one did not. 3 weeks after she sent her report, a black SUV pulled up to her cabin. 3 men in suits stepped out. They did not show any identification. They did not smile. "Dr. Mitchell," one of them said, "please come with us. There are some people who want to talk to you about your report." Laura got in the car. She did not know that her life was about to change forever. She did not know that the fight for humanity's survival was about to begin. And somewhere in space, Commander was planning his biggest hunt yet. He had no idea that his prey was about to bite back. Lieutenant Commander Daniel Price had served in the Navy for 20 years. He had fought in 3 wars. He had survived things that would break most men. Now he just wanted to catch some fish. He had come to Alaska for a 2-week vacation. No phone, no internet, no people. Just him, his fishing rod, and the endless wilderness. He had set up his tent near a cold river surrounded by pine trees. For 3 days, he did nothing but fish and sleep and enjoy the silence. On the 4th day, the sky split open. Daniel was cleaning a salmon when he heard the strange humming sound. He looked up and saw a crack of light appear in the air above the trees. A ship emerged from the crack, sleek and black and completely silent. It landed in a clearing about 200 meters away. Daniel dropped the fish and grabbed his hunting knife. His instincts, trained by decades of combat, told him to hide. He moved into the thick bushes without making a sound. 3 creatures stepped out of the ship. They were huge, covered in dark scales, with yellow eyes that glowed in the dim light. They carried weapons that looked like nothing Daniel had ever seen. They clicked and growled at each other in a language he did not understand. Then one of them raised a device and pointed it in his direction. The creature made a sound that Daniel realized was laughter. They had found him. Daniel did not run in panic. He did not freeze in fear. 20 years of special operations training took over his body like a machine switching on. He moved fast but quiet, going deeper into the forest. Behind him, he heard the heavy footsteps of the creatures following. They were hunting him. He understood that now. These things, whatever they were, had come to Earth to hunt humans for sport. Daniel smiled. They had picked the wrong human. The next 6 hours became a deadly game of cat and mouse. But Daniel was not the mouse he appeared to be. He used every trick he knew. He moved through streams to hide his scent. He climbed trees to change direction. He created false trails that led nowhere. He moved in circles, always watching, always planning. The hunters grew frustrated. Their prey was supposed to run in straight lines, screaming with fear. This one moved like a ghost. Their tracking devices kept losing his signal. Their heat sensors could not find him in the cold water. Daniel watched them from the shadows. He studied how they moved, how they communicated, how they held their weapons. He found their weaknesses. They relied too much on their technology. They did not watch where they stepped. They did not look up. In the early morning light, Daniel set his first trap. He dug a pit in a narrow path between two rocks and covered it with branches and leaves. At the bottom, he placed sharpened sticks made from young trees. Then he let the hunters see him. The first creature roared with excitement and charged after him. It was so focused on its prey that it did not see the covered pit until it was falling into it. The sharpened sticks went through its scales like they were paper. The creature screamed once and then went silent. The other two hunters stopped. They looked at their dead companion with shock in their yellow eyes. This had never happened before. Their prey did not fight back. Their prey did not kill them. Daniel did not give them time to think. He had climbed a tree while they stared at the pit. Now he dropped onto the second hunter from above, driving his knife into the soft spot between its neck and shoulder. The creature tried to throw him off, but Daniel held on with the strength of a man fighting for his life. He twisted the knife and pushed it deeper. The hunter fell. The third creature fired its weapon at Daniel. A beam of burning light cut through the trees where he had been standing a moment ago. But Daniel had already moved. He rolled behind a boulder and grabbed a rock the size of his fist. The hunter approached slowly now. It had learned to be careful, but it still did not understand what it was facing. Daniel waited until the creature came around the boulder. Then he threw the rock at its face with all his strength. The hunter raised its arms to protect its eyes. In that moment, Daniel moved. He was under the creature's guard before it could react. His knife found the same soft spot on the neck. This time, he did not stop pushing until the blade came out the other side. The third hunter died, with a look of complete confusion on its face. Daniel stood over the bodies of his enemies, covered in their strange blue blood, breathing hard. Then he started to laugh. The sound echoed through the silent forest. He spent the next 3 hours gathering evidence. He took weapons, devices, pieces of armor, and samples of the blue blood. He photographed everything. Then he dragged one of the bodies to a place where he could hide it. He found a satellite phone in his emergency supplies and made a call to a number that officially did not exist. 48 hours later, Daniel sat in a classified briefing room somewhere under Washington, D.C. The room was full of generals, admirals, and men in suits who did not give their names. At the center of the table lay the alien weapon he had captured. "Let me understand this correctly," said a gray-haired general with 4 stars on his shoulder. 3 alien hunters came to Earth to hunt humans for sport, and you killed all of them with a knife. "And some sharp sticks," Daniel said, "sir." The room was silent. General Cole stepped forward. She was 60 years old, with short silver hair and eyes that had seen too many wars. She commanded the newly formed Extraterrestrial Threat Response Division, created in secret after the first reports of strange disappearances. "Commander Price," she said, "Dr. Laura Mitchell has given us evidence that these hunts have been happening for at least 2 years. Hundreds of humans have been killed, and the aliens keep coming back for more." Daniel nodded. "They think we are easy prey." "Yes, they do." General Cole picked up the alien weapon and examined it. "But you have shown us something important. These creatures can be killed. They can be beaten." She looked around the room at the most powerful military leaders in the country. "They came here to hunt us," she said. "I propose we show them what happens when humans hunt back." Nobody disagreed. In the months that followed, a secret project was born. It was called Project Nightfall. Its goal was simple: find the alien hunters, study them, and destroy them. Daniel Price became the first leader of Alpha Team, a group of soldiers trained specifically to fight the alien threat. They learned to use the captured weapons. They studied the alien technology. They prepared for the day when they would take the fight to the hunters. And far away in space, Commander continued to send hunting parties to Earth. He did not know that his easy prey was learning. He did not know that the most dangerous predator in the galaxy was about to wake up. The hunt was about to change. Project Nightfall grew in the shadows. Deep under the Nevada desert, in a base that appeared on no map, humanity prepared for war. General Cole had gathered the best of the best, veterans from every branch of the military, survival experts who had lived alone in the wilderness for months, hunters who knew how to track and kill the most dangerous animals on Earth, scientists who could understand the alien technology. All of them shared one thing, the will to fight back. Captain Foster arrived at the base on a cold morning in March. He was 35 years old, with short brown hair and calm gray eyes that had seen too much death. He had led a special operations team for 8 years. He had lost most of his men in a mission that the government said never happened. Now he had a chance to lead again. "Welcome to Project Nightfall," said a voice behind him. Turned and saw a woman in military uniform walking toward him. She was tall, with red hair cut short and a long scar running down her left cheek. Her eyes were hard as stone. "I am Sergeant," she said. "I will be your second in command." "I read your file," said. "You survived an alien attack, tracked the hunters for 3 days, killed 2 of them with a crossbow before they escaped." Did not smile. "They killed my brother. He was camping with his wife and daughter. The aliens took them all." "Understood. He had lost people too. Then we have work to do." Alpha Team trained for 6 months. They learned everything about the alien hunters. They called the creatures, a name taken from the markings on their ships. They studied their weapons, their armor, their tactics. They found their weaknesses. They were strong, but they were slow to change direction when running. Their scales protected their bodies, but the joints between the scales were weak. Their eyes could see in the dark, but bright flashes blinded them. Their technology was advanced, but it could be broken with the right tools. Dr. Park led the science team. He was a small man with thick glasses and nervous energy. He had spent his career studying physics at a university nobody had heard of. Now he was taking apart alien technology and learning how to use it against its creators. "The cloaking devices work by bending light around the user," he explained to the team one day. "But they produce a small amount of heat that we can detect with special sensors. If we know where to look, we can see them before they see us." He showed them a small device that looked like a pair of glasses. "Wear these, and the hunters become visible." The team tested the devices in training exercises. They worked. For the first time, humans could see the invisible killers coming. General Cole visited the base every week. She watched the team train. She reviewed their plans. She made sure they had everything they needed. "We have tracked a new hunting party," she told one evening. "They are heading for the forests of Oregon, 8 hunters, led by an experienced commander." Nodded. "When do we move?" "Tomorrow night. This will be our first real test." The general looked at him with serious eyes. "If we fail, the aliens will know we are fighting back. They will change their tactics. We may not get another chance like this." "We will not fail," said. The next night, Alpha Team moved into position. There were 12 of them, hidden in the trees and bushes of an Oregon forest. They wore special suits that hid their heat signatures. They carried both human and alien weapons. They had trained for this moment for months. Lay beside in the darkness, watching through her special glasses. "I see them, 8 targets moving toward the clearing." Activated his radio. "All teams, targets confirmed. Wait for my signal." They entered the forest with confidence. They had done this 100 times before. They expected screaming prey and easy kills. They did not expect what was waiting for them. Watched them spread out in a hunting formation. They clicked and growled to each other, excited for the chase. Now said. The forest exploded with light and sound. Flash grenades blinded the EMP devices, disabled their shields and weapons. Before they could recover, Alpha Team opened fire. The first 3 hunters fell in the initial attack. Their scales, so effective against human bullets, shattered under the concentrated fire of captured alien weapons. Blue blood splattered across the trees. The remaining 5 tried to regroup. Their commander screamed orders in their clicking language. They raised their weapons and fired blindly at the flashing lights. But Alpha Team was no longer there. They had moved the moment they fired, flowing through the forest like ghosts. The shot at shadows and empty air appeared behind one of the hunters. She moved in silence, just as she had practiced 1,000 times. Her blade found the joint between the creature's helmet and shoulder armor. The hunter fell without a sound. Faced the commander himself. The creature was fast, swinging a blade as long as his arm, but had trained against bigger and stronger enemies before. He ducked under the swing, rolled to the side, and fired 3 shots into the commander's unprotected knee. The alien fell, was on top of it in an instant, his knife at its throat. "Your hunt is over," he said. The creature stared at him with hatred and confusion. "How?" it growled in broken English. "You are prey. Prey does not fight." "We are human," said. "We do more than fight, we win." He did not kill the commander. They needed information. The creature was sedated and transported to a secure facility. The rest of the battle was over in minutes. All 8 were dead or captured. Their ship never left the ground. Alpha Team suffered 2 minor injuries and 0 deaths. Back at the base, General Cole watched the footage with a rare smile on her face. "They expected easy prey," she said. "They found something else entirely." Dr. Park was already working on the captured ship. "This vessel has a communication system," he announced. "We can send messages back to there." General Cole considered this for a long moment. Then she made a decision. "Record everything," she said. "The battle, the dead hunters, the captured commander. Send it to them." Looked at her. "You want them to know we are fighting back. I want them to know what awaits them if they come to Earth again." The general's eyes were cold. They wanted to hunt humans. Now they will learn that humans have been hunting each other for 10,000 years. We are very good at it. The message was sent that night. It traveled through space to the, carrying footage of their greatest hunters dying at the hands of soft, weak, easy prey. Commander watched the message in his private quarters. He watched it 3 times. Then he broke his viewing screen with his fist and screamed with rage. The prey had become predators, and they were coming. The message from Earth reached like a bomb. The footage spread through their society within hours. Noble families watched their sons and brothers die at the hands of creatures they had considered helpless prey. The public demanded answers. The military demanded revenge. High Lord sat on his throne and watched the footage for the 100th time. He was old by standards, with gray scales and eyes that had seen 1,000 hunts. He had built his power on the hunting tradition. Now that tradition was being challenged by soft creatures from a small blue planet. "Send the Crimson Fang," he ordered. His advisors exchanged nervous looks. The Crimson Fang was the most elite hunting unit in the Empire. 50 warriors, each one a champion who had killed more prey than any other hunter alive. They had never failed a mission. They had never lost a battle. "Is that necessary, High Lord?" asked one advisor. "Perhaps a larger force would be more appropriate." "No," stood from his throne, his massive form casting a shadow over the room. "The humans beat our hunters because our hunters were careless. The Crimson Fang will show them what real warriors can do." Commander led the Crimson Fang. He was 700 years old, covered in scars from a lifetime of hunts. He had killed creatures on 100 different worlds. He had never known fear. When he received his orders, he gathered his warriors in the great hall of their fortress. "We go to Earth," he announced. We will find the humans who killed our brothers. We will tear them apart with our claws. We will burn their hiding places to ash, and we will send their heads back to their leaders as a warning." His warriors roared with approval. They did not know that they were walking into a trap. On Earth, Project Nightfall had been busy. 3 months had passed since the first victory in Oregon. In that time, the project had grown from 1 team to 10. New bases had been built, new weapons had been developed, and the entire planet had been turned into a kill zone. General Cole stood in the command center, watching a wall of screens. Each screen showed a different part of the world, each one monitored by satellites and sensors that could detect alien ships entering the atmosphere. "They will come," she said to Foster, who stood beside her. "The question is when and where." Nodded. He had spent the last 3 months training new teams and studying the captured commander. The creature had eventually talked, giving them information about tactics, weapons, and weaknesses. "The commander said they have an elite unit," said, "the Crimson Fang. If we embarrass them, they will send their best. Then we will be ready for their best." The Crimson Fang arrived on a night in August. Their ship was larger than any the humans had seen before, carrying 50 warriors and enough weapons to destroy a small city. They landed in the Nevada desert, confident in their superiority. Commander stepped onto the sand and breathed the dry air. "Spread out," he ordered his warriors. "Find their base, kill everyone inside." His warriors fanned out in perfect formation. They activated their cloaking devices and moved silently through the darkness. Their sensors searched for signs of human activity. They found nothing. The desert was empty. No buildings, no vehicles, no humans, just sand and rocks and silence. Frowned, intelligence had told them that the human base was in this area. The ships had landed here. The signals had come from here, but there was nothing. "Commander," said one of his warriors, "I am detecting something strange. The sand feels different here." Knelt and touched the ground. His warrior was right. The sand was not sand at all. It was a covering, a disguise hiding something underneath. He understood too late. The ground exploded. Hidden charges buried under the fake sand detonated in a perfect sequence. Half of the Crimson Fang disappeared in the first explosion, their bodies torn apart before they could even scream. EMP pulses followed, frying every electronic device they carried. Their cloaking devices failed. Their shields went dark. Their weapons became useless metal. And then the humans attacked. They came from everywhere, from hidden bunkers buried in the sand, from tunnels that opened behind the lines, from the sky where helicopters with captured alien weapons appeared like ghosts. Led the ground assault himself. He wore a suit of armor built from technology, modified to fit human bodies. He carried a weapon that combined human precision with alien power. Behind him came 50 of the best soldiers humanity had ever produced. The Crimson Fang fought back with desperate fury. Even without their technology, they were still massive, powerful creatures with claws that could cut through steel. They killed several human soldiers in the initial chaos. But they were surrounded, outnumbered, outplanned. Phase 3 alone when she became separated from her team. They charged at her, claws extended, certain of an easy kill. She dropped to one knee and fired 3 precise shots. Each shot hit the weak point at the joint of their armor. All 3 fell. "That was for my brother," she whispered. Commander gathered his surviving warriors for a final stand. There were only 12 left. They formed a circle, backs together, facing the closing ring of human soldiers. "We die with honor," growled. "We die as warriors." Stepped forward from the human lines. He removed his helmet so the commander could see his face. "You do not have to die," said. "Surrender, tell us about help us end this war." Laughed a harsh clicking sound. "Surrender to prey, never, we are hunters. We would rather die than become the hunted." "You already are the hunted," said. "You just did not know it yet." roared and charged at with his blade raised. He was fast for his age, centuries of experience guiding his movements. The blade whistled through the air towards head, stepped aside at the last moment and caught the alien's arm. He twisted, using the creature's own weight against it, crashed to the ground, his blade flying from his grip. Stood over him, his weapon pointed at the commander's head. "Your hunt is over." The remaining looked at their fallen leader. The fight went out of them. One by one, they dropped their weapons and surrendered. In the command center, General Cole watched the battle's end with satisfaction. "Send the footage," she ordered. "Send all of it. Let their empire see what happened to their greatest warriors." The footage traveled across the stars once again. This time, the message was clear. The Crimson Fang, the pride of the Empire, had been destroyed by creatures they considered prey. High Lord watched the footage alone in his chambers. He saw his greatest commander lying defeated at the feet of a human. He saw the bodies of his elite warriors scattered across the desert sand. He saw the end of everything he had built. "They have made a terrible mistake," he whispered. "They think they have won. They have only made us angry." He summoned his war council and gave them new orders. No more hunting parties. No more small raids. This time they would send everything. The invasion of Earth was about to begin. And humanity, despite its victory, had no idea what was coming. High Lord assembled the largest fleet in history. 300 warships, each one carrying thousands of warriors and enough weapons to destroy a planet. This was not a hunting party. This was an extermination. "The humans must be erased," announced to his commanders. "Every city burned, every human killed. We will leave nothing behind but ash and memory." The fleet departed from there with the cheers of millions watching. For the first time in centuries, the entire empire was united in a single purpose: the destruction of a species that had dared to fight back. On Earth, the warning came 3 days before the fleet arrived. Dr. Park had spent months studying the captured communication systems. He had learned to intercept their messages, to read their codes, to track their ships. When the fleet launched, he knew immediately. "They are sending everything," he told General Cole. 300 ships, enough firepower to destroy our planet 10 times over." General Cole looked at the data without expression. "Then we will have to be creative." The 3 months since the Crimson Fang's defeat had not been wasted. Human factories around the world had been secretly producing weapons based on technology. Scientists had built shields and sensors and cloaking devices. Engineers had modified human ships to carry alien weapons. And in the asteroid belt beyond Mars, a surprise was waiting. Foster stood on the bridge of the Victory, one of 12 human warships hidden among the rocks. The ships were crude by standards, built from Earth technology and alien parts welded together by desperate engineers. But they carried weapons that could hurt the enemy. Commanded her own ship, the Vengeance. She had proven herself in ground combat. Now she would prove herself among the stars. "All ships report status," said into his radio. 12 voices answered. 12 ships carrying the hopes of humanity, ready to fight against impossible odds. Lieutenant Cole piloted a smaller fighter craft. She was only 25 years old, the daughter of General Cole, and one of the best pilots Earth had ever produced. Her squadron of 30 fighters waited in the shadows of the asteroids, invisible to enemy sensors. "Remember the plan," told them all. "We cannot beat them in a straight fight. We have to be smart. We have to make them bleed. We have to make them afraid." The fleet arrived with the dawn. 300 ships emerged from faster-than-light travel, spreading out in a formation that filled the sky. Their weapons charged, ready to begin the bombardment of Earth. They did not expect the minefield. Thousands of hidden devices, scattered through the space between Mars and Earth, activated at once. They were simple weapons, bombs wrapped in stolen cloaking technology, invisible until they detonated against hulls. 40 ships died in the first minute. Their shields, designed to block directed energy weapons, were useless against the mines that appeared out of nothing and exploded against their armor. Watch from his command ship with shock and fury. "Find them," he screamed at his officers. "Find their ships and destroy them." But the human ships were hidden in the asteroid belt, invisible among the rocks. They struck like ghosts, firing at the confused fleet and then vanishing before return fire could reach them. Cole led her fighters in the first wave of attacks. They were small and fast, dancing between the massive warships, targeting engines and weapon systems. She destroyed 3 enemy guns before a lucky shot clipped her wing. "I am hit," she reported, her voice calm despite the damage. "Losing control." "Get back to the Victory," ordered. "Negative, I can still fight," pushed her damaged fighter toward the nearest ship, targeting their bridge. She fired every weapon she had at once. The missiles struck the command section of the enemy ship, breaking it apart in a spray of metal and fire. The ship drifted, dead, as flew through the debris cloud. "Target destroyed," she said. Then her engine failed and she fell toward the larger battle. Saw her falling. She pushed the Vengeance forward, ignoring the enemy fire exploding around her. "I have her," she said, launching rescue pods. The pods grabbed damaged fighter seconds before it would have crashed into an asteroid, pulled her aboard and returned to the battle. The fight lasted 9 days. They had numbers and firepower, but the humans had preparation and intelligence. Every time the alien fleet advanced, they flew into another trap: hidden weapon platforms, improvised minefields, human ships appearing from nowhere, striking and vanishing. Led his ships in constant hit-and-run attacks. They targeted supply ships and fuel tankers, leaving the warships without resources. They captured damaged vessels, turning enemy weapons against their former masters. By the 5th day, the fleet had lost 100 ships. By the 7th day, they had lost 100 more. Ordered retreat after retreat, but the humans followed, never giving them rest. On the 9th day, led the final assault. The remaining ships had gathered around his command vessel, trying to protect their leader. They were tired, damaged, running low on ammunition and hope. They had come to exterminate a primitive species. Now they were fighting for survival. The human fleet attacked from all directions. Fighters swarmed the enemy ships while the larger vessels provided covering fire. Led a boarding party onto a battleship, capturing it and turning its guns against its former allies. Ship crashed through the weakened shields of his command vessel. He led a team of soldiers through the corridors, fighting warriors in close combat. They pushed forward toward the bridge, leaving a trail of dead aliens behind them. High Lord waited for them with his personal guard. He was old, but still massive, still deadly. He held a blade that had killed 10,000 creatures across 100 worlds. "You have destroyed my fleet," said. "You have killed my warriors, but you will not kill me." Faced him alone. "You came to hunt us, you called us easy prey, now look at what we have done." "You are still soft," growled, "still weak, still prey." He attacked with the speed of a creature half his age. His blade cut through the air towards heart. But had been trained by the best soldiers on Earth. He had fought before. He knew their weaknesses. He stepped inside the blade's arc and struck upward with his knife. The blade found the soft joint between his chest plate and shoulder armor. The High Lord fell to his knees, blue blood pouring from the wound. "We were never prey," said. "We were just waiting." Died with confusion in his yellow eyes, unable to understand how his empire had fallen to creatures he had dismissed as sport. The remaining ships surrendered within hours. The war was over. 1 year later, Foster stood at a memorial built on the site of the first landing in Montana. The names of every human killed in the hunts were carved into black granite, never to be forgotten. Stood beside him, her red hair now streaked with gray. "The other species are reaching out to us," she said. "The ones the conquered, they want to trade, they want to learn from us." Nodded, the empire had collapsed after death. Their subject species had risen up, inspired by humanity's example. The galaxy was changing. "They are afraid of us now," continued. "The stories about Earth are spreading. Everyone knows what happened to the hunters." Looked up at the stars. Human ships now patrolled the solar system. Human technology, improved by alien science, was reaching for other worlds. Humanity had taken its place among the stars. "Good," he said. "Let them be afraid. Let them remember what happens when someone threatens Earth." He touched the names carved in the stone. So many lives lost, so much pain, but humanity had survived. Humanity had won. "They thought we were easy prey," said quietly. "They learned the truth. We are the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. We just needed a reason to hunt." Far across space, other species told stories of the strange creatures from the blue planet. Soft, slow, weak in appearance, but deadly beyond measure, patient as stone, persistent as water, and absolutely, completely unstoppable when threatened. The message spread through the galaxy, passed from world to world, species to species. Never hunt humans. They do not stay prey for long. And somewhere in a small town in Montana, Dr. Laura Mitchell watched the stars with her and smiled. She had been the first to see the truth. She had helped start the fight. And now, finally, the hunt was truly over. The hunters had been hunted. The predators had met their match. And humanity stood tall among the stars, ready for whatever came next.